Hi everyone, it is Carol C.C. Miller, your positivity trainer, peace activator, and global hugger. I usually don't go live on Wednesdays, but something's been percolating with me that I really wanted to discuss. So that's what I'm here today to discuss. And it's, who do you want to be remembered as? Do you want to be remembered as somebody who complains and shames and blames? Or do you want to be remembered as somebody who is there to be kind and compassionate and loving? Now, we all probably do a little bit of that in each given moment. So it's definitely still a choice on how you want to show up for yourself and for others. But I was thinking about it. In the last few weeks, I've had several different people say this to me. So it made me stop each time, and I wanted to think about it for a while. And I've been in a couple of situations where people were unkind in word. Like they were anxious and they were being incredibly impatient and just not being nice to the person who was helping them. And in each of these situations, somebody who knew them well said, well, that's just them. Like giving it an excuse to be rude and an excuse to be unkind. Now, there's a couple of things with that. One, it's a reflection. So even if that person is being unkind to you, you certainly don't need to own it, and it's most likely not about you. But I've always thought about the fact that when we're talking about, not to take things personally, and that it is a reflection, does that mean it's okay that these other people are being unkind? But what really caught me was the fact that everybody that was saying this, and it was like a handful of different situations, and each time the person said, well, that's who they are, that they are rude or they are unkind. I'm like, wait a second, that's not who they are. Who they are is love. Who they may be showing up in this moment is unkind or fear-based thoughts. But that's not who they are. Who you are, who I am, who everyone is, comes from a space of love. When we step into being unkind to others or unkind to ourselves, it's coming from fear. It has nothing to do with who we are, because we aren't fear. We aren't unkindness. We aren't uncompassionate. We aren't cruel people. We are love. And then sometimes we step into being rude. I mean, I promise you, I'm sure there's people who say that I'm rude. And it's, I may not think I am in the moment, but it comes off as being rude to certain people. So really, I'm curious about your thoughts on that. And who do you want to be in this world? Seeing who's joining us here. Balangwi, as good, kind, and loving. I like that. Hi, Praveen. Hi, Lena. It's good to see you here. I know you recently got married, and congratulations. And so what I wanted to really say is, I'm not asking you to call out on those people who are being unkind. I mean, if they're being unkind to you, certainly speak up for yourself in a kind, compassionate way. But don't assume that that is their natural state of being. Now, we all have situations that go on in our lives that are very challenging, and we may be stressed out or lack of sleep or a variety of reasons why we can be short-tempered or unkind to people. But they're just reasons. They're not in reality of who we are. So when you walk into a room or you walk into anything, when you're meeting people for the first time or whether you've been with them 1,000 times, how do you want them to remember you? Do you want them to be happy and excited when you walk in the room, or happy and excited when you leave the room? And again, I'm not remotely asking you to be 100% kind all the time. Well, I would love it, because I would love to be 100% kind all the time, but I'm not. But I am asking you to be conscious of your thoughts, conscious of the words you choose, and conscious of your actions. Even when you're getting something that's maybe bad customer service, there's certainly a lot of unkindness that is going on in the world, and there's certainly bad customer service that's going on in the world. But ask yourself, who do you want to show up as? Do you want to show up as the person who is yelling at the bad customer service? If that's who you want to show up as, that's your decision. Or do you want to show up as the compassionate person who still speaks their mind and shares that they're disappointed in whatever their service is, but doesn't do it in a mean, shaming, blaming way? Who do you want to show up with? It's all about your integrity. It's about my integrity. It has nothing to do with the other person. That's their integrity. That's who they get to show up as. And when they start realizing that their truth is love, and their truth, it has nothing to do with fear. Fear shows up. Fear will visit us, but it is not who we are. And so really think about it as you go on today and tomorrow and then next week and forever, for that matter. Ask yourself in the moment when you're getting frustrated, and you're gonna, because I certainly do, who do you want to be? Do you want to be the person, even if you think it's justified, do you want to be the person who is complaining? Do you want to be the person who is shaming? Do you want to be the person yelling back at somebody who might be yelling at you? There's times that it may feel justified and it may feel right, but I promise you, you can stand up for yourself and you can stand up for others if you see unkindness happening to other people, or rudeness, or whatever you want to call it, and still be within your own kind, compassionate, loving way. So ask her, how do you want to show up in this world? How do you want to show up for you? How do you want to show up for your friends? How do you want to show up for your family? How do you want to show up for your community? And how do you want to show up for the world? If you're wanting a kinder world, a more loving world, a gentler world, then show up as that. Even when you see it being reflected back in a negative way, don't add more negativity to the situation. Feel hurt if your feelings have been hurt by somebody being unkind to you. Feel hurt when you see some unjust thing going on in the world. Certainly we have those feelings. Certainly we get angry when we see things that we don't like happening to ourselves or others. Just don't act upon them. Ask yourself, who do you want to be remembered as? Do you want to be remembered as somebody who is offering kindness and offering love and offering compassion and positive solutions? Or do you want to be somebody who's adding some more anger and hostility and fear? It's a choice. It's not always an easy one when you've got somebody yelling at you or is being rude to you. It's really easy to step into their energy and their space of complaining. And if you do, be gentle with yourself, forgive yourself, offer an apology to the people that you need to apologize to, and move on. But I really think if we all start taking responsibility for our own integrity, and that's a personal choice. I can't tell you what your integrity is, but I can tell you my integrity is I want to leave people feeling as good as they did when I walked in, or better. I want to leave this world a better place for me being here rather than me taking from it. So that's my integrity. And I sometimes step out of it, and I'm gentle with myself when I do. I apologize to whoever I need to apologize to, and I move on. So really take responsibility. But when you hear somebody say, oh, that's just who they are, they're a complainer, I know I hear it all the time, and I've thought it myself. Well, they're just a negative person. Well, no, they're not. They're acting as a negative person, but who their truth is love. So they may be acting upon their fear, but they aren't a fear person. So really, I really encourage you to take that into account when you're thinking it yourself or seeing it around you. Know that you come from love, you were born from love, you're here for love, and fear is here to help us expand. And I'm a firm believer if everything was perfect all the time, we would start taking it for granted. So our challenges are here for us as well. I need to get better at pronouncing names is what I need to do. Hi, Samya. Ashley, I work in customer service. When I have having a rough day and kind people come through, it helps change my day around a bit. I can only imagine, Ashley, and I always try to be kind to people in customer service, and I've had some that have been bad customer service that you get frustrated. But often I also remind myself that person taking the call is not the one who has given me the bad service. And sometimes if the person taking the call is rude as well, I still think about the fact that I'm one of a dozen, if not 100 calls that they have had that day. And how would I be after listening to people complain all day? So take responsibility for you and how you treat yourself and how you treat others. Hi, Ravi. Hi, Sarvana. See who else is here with me today. I'm missing some of these comments, but I will come back in and say hi to everyone who has joined me. If you need a hug, you know I'm a hugger, so let me know where you're joining me from, and I will come in and give you a virtual hug. I just wanted to stop by and remind you that really we are love. When we show up in fear, it's just something that we're experiencing, but that's not who we are. So when you hear somebody being rude to you, and I really want you to know, it's so easy to get upset when people are rude to you, and so easy if they're yelling at you to want to yell back. But just know that isn't who they are, it's how they're acting now, and perhaps it's how they act most of the time. But that's not who they are. And the more we focus on being our best selves, the more that we're going to reflect that out to everybody. I prefer being somebody who people want to emulate rather than being somebody that tells people what they need to do. That's just me. But you need to be you. And if you're angry and you feel you need to yell about it, then that's your choice. But know it's a choice. It isn't something that other person has made you do. It's your choice to do it. Sometimes it's easy to do because that other person is yelling at you, but it's still a choice on your part. So ask yourself, how do you want to be remembered? Not even just in your lifetime when we're gone, but how do you want to be remembered next week when you've met somebody and you may never see them again? Do you want them to think, oh, that was a really cool person I met last week? I think about that when I'm doing free hugs. I want people to walk away thinking about that I was nice to be there to share a hug with them. I don't want them to think like, I can't think of ever yelling at one of the free hug events anyway, but I certainly want people to walk away from that experience feeling that they matter and that people are kind in this world. Because there's a lot of kindness in this world too. There may be the focus on the unkind situations, but there are many, many people out there who are simply kind all the time. And then there's people who are showing up to be kind in these areas of challenges and in the areas of peril and struggle, that they're there to help as well. So ask yourself, you get to decide. I'm not going to decide for you. If I did, I would ask you all to be kind all the time. But you get to decide how you want to be remembered today. How do you want to be remembered tomorrow? How do you want to be remembered next week, next month, next year, the rest of your life, the day that you take your last breath? You want people to remember you as that's just who they were, always complaining and griping about something, or do you want to be remembered as the person who was compassionate? It's a choice, and I also promise you, if you're currently somebody who finds more reasons to complain than to appreciate, it's a practice. Just start practicing today. In the morning when you first get up, think of a few things that you appreciate. And if you're going through a really big struggle right now, it might be just a few things that you appreciate, but that's okay. Start small and keep building upon it. As soon as you become a practice of it, I promise you're going to see lots of reasons to appreciate. And the more you practice it, you're actually going to start appreciating things within the challenges that you're going through too. So go out there, have a kind day, have a compassionate day. And compassionate means to be even compassionate to those people who aren't showing you compassion. It's not easy, but it's possible. And be who you want to be. Be who you want to be remembered as. That's the important thing, is for you to show up as your highest self. And guess what? Your highest self is love. Your highest self is kind. And your highest self is compassion. So go out there and shine you. Have a great day. Tomorrow I will be interviewing Dr. Cheryl. And we are going to be talking about the importance of rest and relaxation in rebooting and being able to live a strong, thriving life. So I hope you join me and Cheryl tomorrow at noon Central Time right here, and we will talk soon. Remember, you matter. You matter to me, you matter to the world, and most importantly, you matter to you. So we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.